All right. Well, let's get into it. We'll start off with our quick little recap. We do not have our witch today. Song is not here. I'll take a turn order. We don't need that anymore. So we started book two, Rivers Run Red. Started off pretty strong. You know, we did a lot of kingdom management. The kingdom itself is doing pretty good. Even got a couple of buildings down already. Looking lovely in the city. And bring us back over to the world map as well. Started claiming tokens for your kingdom, or sorry, hexagons. I was going to say the golden tokens indicate what has been claimed. That one is the farm that you guys had built as well. After a pretty successful first foray, yeah, I mean, Avon is right, the rivers did run pretty normally as it turned out. Kingdom did well, until you kind of started adventuring on your guys' own. We got a whole bunch of new bounties and the bounty board handouts. I'll toss those up just so we can see the pictures again. Descriptions are below. But in adventuring around, you guys did manage to kill the Northern Howls quest, which was a lovely warg that was stalking the lands around here named Howl of the North Wind. You guys stomped him and his pack of regular wolves pretty substantially. And then in the middle of the night, about, I think, 11 more wargs came to kill you guys in retaliation.
It's like 15 or so.
There's a lot of wargs.
20.
And now there was a lot of dead wargs. After that, you guys, ended up in a even more deadly encounter. You guys fought a Tendriculus, which is this, crazy giant mushroom that eats people. And, that's what it did. It ate 3 of you, everyone except our Archer Paladin. There was a lot of having to stay up with healing and spells while repeatedly going unconscious thanks to its stomach acid. But in the end, nobody died. Although I think we got within, one more hit point for multiple people would have been a death. It was very close. But this time, we have our tank back, so now that Ludwig's here, hopefully that won't happen again. Although, while you were gone, perhaps unfortunate timing, the group became rather suspicious when it seemed like there were some werewolf-esque attacks happening nearby in your new kingdom. You went to investigate, pretty quickly found out that those rumors were accurate. However, I'll bring us back to that final fight map we were in. You guys did corner the werewolf in question over here. I believe you guys healed up at the end, post-fight a little bit. But the werewolf in hybrid form did some pretty heavy hits, especially to our archer. But no lycanthropy was contracted, and one more threat to the kingdom was dealt with. So, your kingdom's still on pretty damn good footing here. Which we now agree it is the Barony of Stalland. Founded originally in the Stolen Lands. But yeah, you guys even were able to increase your fame, and hopefully become better allies with our elven friends in Kyonin, having a lovely treatise with them, hopefully working towards, at some point, we actually want to having an embassy in our main city, and hopefully we'll be able to kind of increase those relations, especially as one of your ruling council, Siora Miasalor, your Grand Diplomat, is the elven representative from Kyonin. So that was a lot of broad strokes there. Anyone have any specific moments they want to refresh our tank on before we continue our movements?
We were relieved to find out that the werewolf that was killing people was not Ludwig, despite his mysterious disappearance.
Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah, the very unfortunate timing as werewolf rumors appeared the one session you weren't there.
Yeah.
Not ideal, as it turns out. But Kundal the Kelid, I don't think you guys ever actually learned his name before killing him, is no more. And you guys got up to level 5 too, so that was good. Bit more powerful, bit more ready to rule the kingdom. So currently, I'll bring us back to the world map. You guys are out near the farm. We haven't quite started a new section of like kingdom downtime right now. You guys can go back to the capital right away and start that, or if you want to look around, you're trying to explore more, maybe try to investigate some of the bounties as well. Kind of up to you guys right now.
I'd kind of like to finish exploring this hex.
The one down here?
That one.
Oh, the one below. Yes. Okay. So, I believe, let me check my notes. Yeah, it's still pretty early in the day. You could easily make it there. Maybe not do the full exploration, but certainly start it and then probably spend a night.
Okay.
So let's rotate around. Heading on back down to this hex. Just loading up all my billion tabs for this AP. Here we go. Takes a second. I like have a bookmark that like opens them all. It just takes a hot second. Okay. So you guys are right below Tuskwater. All right. Cool. So we begin the exploration, but go ahead and make, per usual, you want to make a survival check, see if any more natural features around here, or any more perception checks, if any more man-made stuff you guys might have missed last time.
Am I current with the party or no?
Yes.
Yes. I was assuming that they'd swing by the capital, pick you up, since it's on the way.
Alright.
I guess if you want to be somewhere else out in the wilderness, they could find you, but I figured they'd probably swing by and get you after they got so handily injured last time. I think there's probably some caution there. All right. Ooh, we got some good fucking rolls to start out here. All right. So this is, kind of like a long stretch of Tuskwater Lake's shoreline. There's some river real estate here as well. But as you guys kind of get like over the river to the second part of the hex, you are starting to go up at a steeper elevation in the hills. So there's about like a 40-foot cliff on this side of the Tuskwater down to water level. So not a lot of landings in this hex, at least in the southern half. With that pretty crazy survival check, as Ludwig kind of shows up again, it's like, all right, guys, here we go. This is what we're looking for. You guys are able to find a small hidden trail that leads through some nettles down a cliffside trail to a secluded pool about 50 feet in diameter at the Tuskwater's edge. You guys would know, first of all, it seems to be a lot of like freshwater fish in this pool, despite its kind of separation from the lake is very nice. But Ludwig, thanks to your 27, you find evidence that there is perhaps more animal activity here than just the fish. Looks like there is some sort of larger predator that has been eating fish and local wildlife. You can see various claw marks in the soil and the sand around the beach. And looks like maybe some dragging parts. Whatever was walking did have claws, but its body was pretty low to the ground. I would say this would be a knowledge nature check if you want to try to figure out what's going on with these marks. Nature. Oh, Trell. You compare that to like a book of like local flora and fauna that you've been reading. Ludwig, from your time in the wilderness, you'll be able to piece it together as well. These would appear to be the tracks of a snapping turtle, an alligator snapping turtle particularly. Although most alligator snapping turtles wouldn't be this big. They'd probably be like around the larger side of small size. This one would have to be at least medium size. Size of like a fairly large dog. Oh, 100% as Trophy says.
All right. Well,
I believe there's a bounty for one as well.
oh yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to put Mishka on it.
All right. Plus, is that with the +5? No, that's after.
No.
Okay, so 15.
No.
I would say on a 15, Mishka is going to sniff out the turtle's hiding spot, or at least like the section of water where Mishka's going to start like barking around, likely. Maybe not even bark. Mishka's pretty well trained. Just kind of does like the pointer thing at a section of water. I think you would assume that this turtle, who, yeah, you guys did see the bounty board in town. Now that you said that, seems like this might be the semi-legendary turtle Old Crackjaw. Yeah, you have a pretty decent idea of where this thing is making its nest at the moment.
So, Ludwig, Trell, how do we fight this?
Don't aim for the shell.
Okay, I could have worked that out myself.
I mean, fair advice. Don't aim for the shell. Fucking outstanding. Okay. Give me 1 second. We're gonna be using this with the special lake I added. I'm gonna bring you guys over to that map as you're making your plans. So give me 1 sec.
You need to dump a carcass or something to lure it out?
You would know that I would say with those checks earlier, they are meat eaters. That could help. Let's bring you guys over to here. If you guys want to drop your tokens in, Mishka would have pointed out that the place it's hiding in the lake would seem to be about like near this bend at the top.
Well, then I shall position myself over here.
All right.
Okay. Does anybody know how fast it can move?
You would think probably not very fast on land. It is a turtle.
All right, so I'm remaining mounted.
All right. What is the plan for flushing it out? I'm gonna say if you want to make another perception check here, now that you know where it is. If we get some high enough checks, I'll just reveal where he's hiding on the map. I think 15 or over. So Ludwig, you would see where he's hiding. Grellin, not quite sure, but two of your friends have already found it, so I think they could point it out. Looks like Old Crackjaw is over here. Looks like he's kind of hiding under the water, gnawing on what looks disturbingly like maybe a soldier's shield that fell afoul of this turtle.
Did you bring your catapult?
I did not.
Ah, darn.
What a brutal streak, catapulting a turtle.
One second here.
Seems content to kind of just munch. They're very much ambush predators.
I'll start Inspire Courage.
Okay. You start your Inspire Courage. I will clear our initiative order out then.
I'll wild shape into a bear.
Okay, hold on, let me get our bear out of here. Is your bear medium or large sized?
Medium, I believe, right now. 1 second.
Medium?
Yeah, medium.
Alright, give me 1 second. I'm gonna give Ludwig control there. Okay, you should be able to move that bear around at your leisure. In theory. Okay,
Yep.
cool. Excellent. Alright, I will add a turn for old Crackjaw. Although he's pretty much just waiting for someone to attack him. He is currently underwater, I'll say. That does sometimes impede attacks.
Well,
Oh, wow.
I will go ahead and take a shot at him when everybody looks ready.
Do we got everybody? 1, 2. The bear face threw me off for a second. Okay, let's sort this out. I mean, everyone looks ready, so I mean, definitely. I'm gonna put the turtle lower. Avon, you would have time to like do your shot before the turtle does anything for sure.
But we can just do initiative if people have stuff they want to do. I just figured, we want to provoke it to something.
Up to you guys. If you guys are like waiting for, are you guys doing something to go up to the turtle, or are you just kind of like waiting for Avon to take the shot, and then we rush into initiative?
I think waiting for Avon to take the shot.
All right, we'll say Avon, go ahead and take your shot here. 14. Ignoring regular water rules and stuff anyway, that does seem to go through the water, but it bounces off his shell as you see like a twirl of mud in this pool as old Crackjaw starts to thrash around. And then we'll hop into initiative proper with Trell. Trell, you can see the almost said horse. The it's a name for the shell. The turtle is on the move.
I'm going to go down where Avon is and just wait.
All right, moving down to there. Grellin, that is you.
He was gonna look for an animal, but instead he will move right here and kind of like splash the water like a distressed creature,
Okay.
and then I will ready an action to.
Yeah, I'd say you could just kick out the water as part of your movement. It seems very much, like falls for that for sure. It's like, oh, fucking pray. All right.
I will
Yep.
hold my action as when the turtle gets close enough for me to swing at it.
Okay. In that case, that is Ludwig, aka our bear.
We're gonna hold my action to see which way the turtle goes first.
Okay, I'm gonna put you after. Shout out to tardigrades, honestly. Let's put the bear up there, and then in that case, it's gonna be Avon first, and then the turtle.
We'll take a couple more shots, see if we get anywhere.
That one was a 20. That seems very close. You think with all that was throwing you off was the water.
All right.
Like, I think if there hadn't been any water in the way of that, like, you probably would have gone through and hit him.
We'll get there.
Alright. That's gonna be our turtle. Let's measure out some distances here. Turtle is going to swim over to Grellin, so that'll trigger your ready to action, Grellin. That is not going to hit him. However, he is like on the surface now. As he surfaces to the top, so Avon, the water is not going to leave your shots anymore. But after the rapier misses, he is going to go in with a bite attack on Grellin here. Oh, not a strong showing from old Crackjaw. Yeah, 13, Grellin, you are fine. Double moved, so that is all he's going to do. Let's toss it over to Ludwig again.
Okay. We're just gonna head out and around and get behind him.
Okay. If you get all the way, I was gonna say, if you get past the first layer of squares, you'll have to make a swim check, as that it'll start getting, it deepens off pretty quickly. There's like a mountainside pool.
Oh, but if I go here, I'm good though, right?
Yeah, if you go, that's fine. Basically, as long as you're like on an edge square, you should be good. Then taking any shots? Oh, that'll crunch through its gooey center. Yep, that definitely hits the snapping turtle for 8 damage. Nice. Okay. Oh, yes. With our lovely oration from Trell, bumping up to a 10. Oh yeah, you got the better inspiration now. Okay. It does not look bloodied or anything, but looks like a decent chunk was done there. Nico. Our wolf.
Nico will head over to there. And you want a swim check as well?
Let's see, he's past the edge. He will make a swim check, yeah, because he's past the initial thing. Nico is fucking going after this turtle. You are more than fine. Unfortunately, the bite doesn't go through, but Nico is in prime position, still giving the bear flanking at this time. All right, Trell.
Okay, I'm gonna move up and swing.
All right, 18 with the book. Even with him above water, that does still, with this like heavy iron tome, clash off of his shell. Which brings us to Grellin.
I guess Grellin will attempt to swim over here.
All right, go for your swim check. There's no current or anything, so it's not a huge DC. Yep, you're good. It's usually base 10 and still water, pretty much. Like, there's a little bit of, like, water flowing in from the lake here, but not enough to make a current. So go ahead and make that attack. You are flanking now. Nat 20 hits. The crit does not confirm. Go ahead and add your sneak attack on there, though. Ooh, okay. Nice sneak attack roll. And is this with the 2 from Trell as well, or no?
No, it's not added in.
Okay, so that's a 15 total. Okay. After those first 2 hits, old Crackjaw is looking pretty bad. We're getting near bloodied here. Which brings us to our archer.
And 3 ranks of bleed. 3 points of bleed.
And 3 points of bleed, you said?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just add a little blood thing on him in a second.
Move up a little bit to get into point blank range.
Okay. Calmly, yeah, right up to the edge of the pool. Yep. Second one misses, but that first one will absolutely go through. You kind of sight up and wait till he, like, lunges forward with his head out of the shell. Take that opportunity to hit him in the neck with an arrow. -9. And this is with Trells, right? Or no?
Yep.
Okay. I will say after that night, he does seem bloodied now. Old Crackjaw is taking some hits. Anything else? Or tossing it over to the turtle?
Over to the turtle.
All right. In that case, old Crackjaw here, he doesn't have to move anymore, so he's going to go for 2 bites. Believe it or not the most intelligent animal, so he's just going to try to lash out at 2 people randomly. We got a 2d4 here. I'm going to say top row, Grellin 1, Bear 2, Nico 3, Trell 4. So first attack, Bear, second attack, Grellin. So let's go with Ludwig. Potential crit. Does a 17 confirm?
It does.
Okay, this is going to be rather hefty then. He's got a ×3 critical. Let's see if it rolls high or low. That was okay. Just the 3d8s I rolled were 8, 8, 7.
Yes.
Oh my god, hold on, let me add up the rest. Okay. Jesus Christ. That is going to be 38 damage as the jaws just slam shut on the bear's stomach. But you are still up, so that's good. I was really worried that was going to down you for a second. Grellin, we'll see if this one is as fierce of a hit. Hopefully not. That is not a crit, but I do believe that's going to be a hit. It's going to be a 22.
Yes, that is.
Alright. And then... yeah, a lot lower damage here. That is going to be 15. And then it did nothing to... I mean, it can't really do anything to stop its bleed damage, so it does take that 3 during the turn. Having been outbit for the moment, what's the move here, Ludwig?
We'll go full on attack this turtle.
Okay, go for it. Let's see. That is not gonna be a hit. Even with flanking and stuff.
And then claws.
However, both claws will go through. So bumping up from Trell, that's a 7 and a 9. Nice. Another 16. The turtle is getting, not quite there, but getting close to death's door. He's taking a lot of damage. You can see that, like, from under the shell, there's blood leaking out, and the shell itself is getting pretty fucking cracked at this point. Nico is still treading water at the moment, so he's making another swim check. It's just gotta be a flat 10. Yep, fucking nails it. No problem.
And we'll go bite him again.
Here we go. Unfortunately, that will not do it either. Just can't seem to find a good angle. All the good claw angles are coming for the bear. Trell, back to our librarian.
Try to hit him with that book. Nope.
Unfortunately, yeah, that will not do it. There's like a brief moment where he tries to bite your book and tear it out of your hands, but you just kind of bonk him on the nose and get it back. Grellin. The Grellster. You there? Oh, okay.
I assume I'm gonna need to make another swim check too, right?
Yeah, DC 10. Okay, that is a fail. You sink 5 feet underwater. The good news is you're using a rapier, right? It's a piercing weapon. Not nearly as many penalties for using a piercing one underwater. So, up to you. You could use your regular action to try to just swim back to the surface, or if you want, you can still take an attack. Technically, it would still be flanking, because you're at like a diagonal line through the turtle to Trell.
That was going to be my question.
I thought he bit Ludwig, not Grillin. with flanking, that will still hit in the water because piercing weapons are just like that. Go ahead and roll. Oh my goodness. Alright, so that's another 12, 14 from the stab. Has managed to puncture through the softer undershell. Even this turtle's looking pretty bad and not swaying on its feet because it's in the water, but it looks like it's starting to sink.
Alright. Well, I'm going to use my new deadly aim and line up a couple of shots.
Oh, damn. Okay. Okay, so yeah, both of those are most assuredly hits, and with two quick, just as he's lunging for another, like, snapping bite on Trell, you manage to catch him, like, fixed right through the neck. Transfixed, that's the word. Which I know can mean, visually, but also literally it can be through something. Okay, nice. We are out of combat. Knock that guy off my DM map. And then you guys would know that for the turtle, you know that Arvin, which is remarkably close to our paladin's name, the fisherman, he is very willing to give you guys a reward for this. In fact, he's willing to give a ring of feather falling that he found in a fish's stomach.
But I think our first point is to grab that turtle and not let it sink all the way down.
Yeah, I'd say you guys are pretty ready to haul that thing out. It probably takes a couple of you, but I'm not going to make you roll, because I'd like to think between your whole fucking party you can haul one turtle.
Yeah, load it, Ken.
I will say, as you're pulling it out, everyone go ahead and give me another perception check, because you're hauling on the turtle. Ludwig and Trell, you guys pretty immediately see that there is something glowing blue inside the turtle. It's kind of shining through its underside.
Well, we'll find out what that is while we're making turtle soup.
Yeah, I guess it is almost evening time since you guys did the rest of the traveling, so I'll say one person can give me a survival check to make a trophy if wanted, and then one can make a survival check to cook up some turtle soup. I guess unless anyone has profession chef, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume no one wasted a point on that. Are you cooking or are you harvesting, Ludwig? Alright, well, you and Grellin just disassemble this fucking turtle in quick order. You're like, alright, this part for the soup, this part for the trophy, keep the shell, let's keep the head over there for stuffing. Yep, take that part of that organ out, that's not good for the soup, and you guys just perfectly disassemble it. Most assuredly have a nice tasty meal tonight. Well done. Furthermore, just to save us some checks, you guys did make it through tonight with no chance of being interrupted. So good news there. And then when you cut it out, when you cut through the turtle, you guys do see there is this very clear sapphire that you pull out. It seems that even once you dry it off, rinse it off, it looks like the sapphire is still kind of wet, even though it doesn't feel wet. If anyone wants to make a spellcraft check on that, go ahead and make a roll. Grellin gets that 19, nice. Trell, you're a little grossed out that the magic item was in some turtle guts for once.
I'd like to use my legend lore to make that a 28.
Okay. You're like, alright, push through the grossness. Here we go. Yeah, you're confident that this is a elemental gem. Basically, toss that gem like a grenade, and if it breaks, you get to summon a large-sized elemental. This one is a water elemental gem.
Ooh.
Yeah. So basically, lob that thing in, or in some other way break it. Pretty much, I guess there could be some shenanigans that would change it, but usually it's a standard action to break them, whether it's thrown or just crushed underfoot. But yeah, large elementals are pretty decent summons. All right. For reference, a large elemental is like a summon nature's ally, like level 5. It's pretty potent. So you guys get that and make it through our night's rest. Any more questions about the turtle? Yeah, go ahead.
Not turtle, but before the night's over, I'm going to wild shape into a octopus and explore this whole pond.
Okay, yeah, you find that it is remarkably deep. Go ahead and make a perception check, but I'd say just right off the bat, as you're the octopus going down, you can see that like the way this pool has formed near the cliffs, basically there is like a underwater tunnel that leads to Tuskwater Lake. That's how like the fish and stuff are getting in here. Ooh. So there is like a narrow passage. I would say the gap in the rock is probably big enough to fit like a large-sized creature through. So like a medium-sized creature could swim through it pretty easily.
Roughly how far are we from the lake?
Let me double check our map. The pool itself, you're like pretty near the coast right here. So you think it would be, you would basically have to like hold your breath for about a minute to swim through, assuming you don't have like a swim speed and can breathe water.
Okay. But nothing else in the little pond?
So that's what you noticed out the check. On a 25, you are able to see, it looks like old Crackjaw has fought a lot of people and kept a lot of junk down here in the mud. A lot of the shields and stuff have been either rotted away or sundered by his powerful jaws. I'm going to make his art a little bit bigger for a second, actually, because I do like his art. However, it looks like there are a few masterwork items that have kind of survived the ravages of the water for a bit. So there is there's a masterwork steel shield. And a masterwork light mace down here.
Well, I'll grab those for my tentacles and head up to the surface.
You guys see an octopus surface with a fucking sword and shield held in different hands. Truly a horror of the deep. Okay, fucking outstanding. So pretty immediately in the morning, I'd say you guys spend according to my timeline, probably like 2 or 3 hours in the morning, you get the full exploration of this hex. So you got a lot of daylight left. While I am putting on the little map icon, what are you guys thinking of doing today?
Also, before we slept, did anyone else heal me?
Oh yeah, if we have any other heals to burn, you guys have plenty of time to do that.
Yeah, how much are you down?
31 damage, I believe.
$31. That's not terrible for the paladin.
So I'll heal you 17 and let Avon do the rest.
Damn, Trell coming in hot.
Right. The first one, an 8. 17 and 17, that's probably it, right?
Yeah, I'll be good.
Alright. Nice.
Yes, guys, there is a tunnel in that pond leading to the lake.
Yeah, interesting.
So, I mean, it's a quick escape if we ever need it.
True. A little interesting tidbit
I'd like
there.
to continue around the lake a little bit, even if we don't fully explore the hex. It'd be nice to get a rough idea of what's there.
Okay. Continuing your way around the Tuskwater. Let me just polygon reveal that for you guys. you've almost revealed all of the fact that it says Kame Lands here. So we're still in hill terrain as you guys make your way down there. Let me just double check. All right. And as you guys are exploring that next hex, go ahead and make your choice of survival and perception checks. All right. Got a good variety here. In terms of man-made things, it doesn't look like there is much salvageable here. Let's say those, especially the trails, it looks like maybe this might have been old farmland once. And with those survival checks here with Grelin, you think that with that in mind, you might be able to like half cost this hex as a farm. Looks like there's kind of just been a lot of like wheat and other grains that have started growing wild, but could probably be harvested and brought back into shape for a farm. Yes. And then you guys would be able to fully explore the rest of that one before nighttime. So let's get another map on there. Still have a couple hours of daylight left. Do you want to make camp or try to at least get a glimpse at what's next?
I'm up for a glimpse.
Yeah.
Continuing around the lake.
Just continuing to the west there? Okay. Give me one moment. Freaking hexagons. Okay. All right. Excuse me. So, as you guys kind of look over the next, you see that the Tuskwater kind of splits down the river a little bit into this smaller lake area. And you have heard the name Candlemere. You think that is what this island is up here. Everyone go ahead and make a knowledge local check about what they know of this island. All right. Avon, you can just make out that there is a tower on that island, kind of like an old stone tower. And you and Grellin with the 17 and 19, you guys both know that this island is like notorious among fishermen, explorers, tradesmen, as being very haunted. There's like tales of blood-curdling cries, which people think are lost souls, mysterious sightings of shapes in the water around it, and even like dancing lights out upon the waters. I would say on a 25 trail, you kind of perhaps in your studies have compiled a lot of these stories and are able to ascertain a bit more here. First of all, you would think that likely there's probably a den of will-o-wisps living on the island, which would explain some of the phenomena. You would know that there is something to say for the plants on the island as well. You realize that something that might have been affecting people is the fact that the nettles and other such spiky plants on the island are a bit poisonous and could have been, messing with minds here. Yeah, I'd say that's most of what you find there. However, does anyone have knowledge engineering? I don't know if that's one of up your coat there, Trell, up your coat sleeves.
That's what you use to shoot a catapult.
Oh, duh, it is. You are absolutely correct. Go ahead and roll me one of those as you peer out of the tower. Nice. That is just enough. Okay, so Trell, as you look out over it, there you had heard among those stories that the tower likely was built by some, slightly more powerful than normal bandit chief out here. Perhaps people think maybe 100, 200 years ago. As you study this 40-foot tall stone cylinder tower, you realize that this tower is far, far older than that. In fact, it appears to outdate any other structure you have seen in the area, including that old temple. If you had to put a date to it, you think that it's likely it could date back all the way to the Age of Destiny, which is negative 3,400 AR. So, more than 6,000-7,000 years ago, this tower could have been built.
Nice.
So you can tell that from here?
Yeah.
Good eyesight.
I like to think that it's also... There was a lot of techniques back in those, kind of classic older civilization things where they knew how to do a lot of stuff. You think a bandit, as you look at it, oh, he couldn't have built something so sturdy. Then you realize, oh, this is old workmanship. Yeah.
And was there a rumor about this place?
Let me double check our bounties. I don't believe so, but I want to make sure I'm not telling you something false here.
Well, not all the rumors are true, so.
It's true. And I don't think, in terms... Oh, sorry. Ludwig, you didn't actually get to earn a rumor last time because you weren't actually here, but in a second we'll roll for that. I don't think anyone got a rumor specifically, did they?
We did. The old tower on the island in Candlemil marks a place where the boundary between this world and another has rasped in and is now guarded by some sort of deadly monster.
Okay, cool. So you guys did get that rumor. I can remember if you rolled that one or not. All right.
Well, maybe we save that one for later, and after we spend the night, we continue on around the lake.
Okay. Also, if you want to roll for one of the rumors, Ludwig, it is a D10. Angry cat's behind me. Go ahead and roll another one because we got something similar to that last time. 2, okay. I don't think anyone got this one last time. You listen to some people while you're in town and the group is off adventuring without you for a couple days. And a few different people tell you, beware the mad hermit to the south. He speaks to beasts and lives in a hollow tree.
Good thing I'm part beast.
Probably an elf. Those crazy elves. God damn it. I wasn't even thinking of fucking Keeblers. Come on now. Okay. So, yeah. I would say, are you guys going to peek of, that's what's on the horizon over these hills? Or are you trying to camp on the banks of, the Candlemere part of the lake? Or just kind of camping still in the hills?
I think near... Well, let's stay in the hills since we don't know what's in Candlemere.
Yeah.
Stay in the hills? Okay.
Yep.
Noted. Alright, let's see. Okay. Alright. So Song not being here is kind of throwing off our watch order a little bit. What is your guys' watch order right now?
Well, I think I'm usually last, right?
Yeah, I think you're always last. Is the typical one. Always third. Okay. So let me just do some rolls here. All right. In this case, Grellin, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and make a perception check during the night. $23. All right. You see a small figure watching you from a nearby stream. Doesn't look like it is coming any closer, but it's certainly like kind of watching your guys' camp curiously. Do you have knowledge nature, Grellin?
Yes.
Go ahead and roll knowledge nature for this. You can see that this figure it's pretty small, green skinned, and has webbed hands and feet. Okay. It would appear that this is a type of fae. This is a Nixie. Usually they're guardians of ponds, rivers, lakes, and springs.
Rowan doesn't.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say he doesn't make any like sudden moves about it, but he like nonchalantly waves at it.
Give me a diplomacy check as you try to get this air of nonchalance and lure them in. Yeah. You see that the Nixie kind of starts walking over to you. Whoops, made it too giant. Little green woman walking over. She at first tries to converse with you in a strange, bubbly language. Do you speak Aquan?
No.
The language of water elementals. Seeing you don't speak it, she kind of changes her stratagem here. And she's like, "What are you and your party doing here? I heard you all setting up camp for my creek."
We're just out exploring, getting rid of dangers for our people.
Kind of leaps up on a nearby rock, crouching almost like a frog. Oh, all right. Well, listen, I would love it if you could come help me with some stuff.
What would some stuff be?
Oh, well, you see, there's like a deeper part of the creek, kind of goes into a little pool, couple of dozen yards that way. And I was hoping that you, or maybe, your friends too, there's a lot of like really heavy stuff down there that's messing with the creek's flow, and I don't like that. So I was hoping you guys can move it out of the way.
My party may be able to do that, but what is your name? Just so I can address you properly.
Oh, my name? She at first lets out this long bubbling thing. And she's like, "Oh, I guess that doesn't really translate. You can call me Bubbles on the Surface." Trixie the Nixie. She's like, "I could make it worth your while. I've collected a few things that people have dropped in the creek over the years."
He kind of perks up, but then quickly tries to regain composure. Things like what?
Oh, let's see. There is some jewelry I found, a couple of bottles of some strange liquids. I don't know, I drank one, and it tasted kind of tingly, but it didn't seem to do anything. things like that. And, of course, the odd coin that people throw in for good luck.
Yeah, I think we could help you. Not in this very moment, obviously, but at some point, maybe soon.
Alright. Sorry. Okay, do you think you would help me in the morning? I could just wait in the water over there.
That would be great. They would love to meet you.
Alright. She kind of leaps and bounds away and is just, like, sitting on a rock in the middle of the creek, just, like, looking at you for the rest of the shift. Avon, as Grelin kind of gets you up, Grelin, what do you say to Avon here?
Would I know if Avon speaks any other languages?
Avon really does pretty well with common, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't think you've seen him speak anything else.
Boo. Then yeah, I'll whisper it to him. Her name is Bubbles on the surface, to put it simply. And she would like our help in the morning, not right now. She's not as I'm saying she's not a threat, can I do a sense motive just like on our conversation, thinking back on it?
Sure, yeah. You think, yeah, there's no, like, hostile intent here. She seems willing to, like, make a deal and bargain.
Yeah, she's not a threat. She's cool. But we just need to get rid of some debris for her, and she'll reward us with jewelry and healing potions.
Oh, well, that sounds reasonable.
Oh, and she's right there watching you. Good night.
You look over into the darkness, and she just kind of, like, waves. You can see, like, a little bit of, like, the firelight from your camp is, like, reflecting off her wet skin. Kind of picks her out in the nighttime.
Ah, well, I will head over and introduce myself. Hello, Bubbles on the surface. I am Avon Medved.
Oh, hello.
Hi, do you know anything about the Medved family?
She thinks on. She's like, not really. Are they famous?
No, it's just we generally have good relations with the Fae folk.
Oh. I've been alone for a long time in the creek. I apologize if I've given any offense.
Oh, no. I was just wondering if perhaps you were aware, but there's no reason you should. We are from some miles away.
Well, friend of the Fae, would you be able to help me?
I certainly think so. Just need some things moved.
Yeah, there's a bunch of heavy rocks in a deeper part over here. It's causing the creek to redirect into a direction that I don't really like.
Ah, makes total sense. Yeah, once it's light and we can get everybody together to work on it, we should be able to help you out.
Oh, good. That makes me very happy. She goes like a little, kind of claps her hands excitedly.
So how have things been in this area?
Well, they've been pretty good, I suppose. Some of my friends went over out to the island with the tower a couple weeks ago. I haven't seen them since, but it was nice having them visit. First time I'd had visitors in, I don't know, 100 years? Sometimes it's hard to know for sure.
Sure. Yeah, it does seem like an ominous place.
Yeah, I don't really know what they hope to find there, but it kind of gives me the shivers if I get too close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get the same feeling. Have there been many menfolk through here?
There's always a couple of Well, they had those weird horned amulets on them, and they'd ride through a couple of times a month on their horses, but they never stopped to chat.
Well, we live in the little town, and I indicate to her where New Absalom is, and tell her that she's welcome to send us any messages if she has problems with the people in this area.
Okay. That sounds good. Are you any good at reading?
I struggle, but I can do it.
Oh. Well, there was all sorts of weird markings on the side of the tower. I didn't know what they meant.
Oh. You got close enough to see them?
Yeah, and then, well, I got within, I don't know, a couple of 100 paces away, and I felt, well, I usually feel slimy, but my insides felt slimy. I didn't like it.
Yeah. My friend Trell, when he wakes up, he's really good with letters and words, reading all sorts of languages.
Oh, good. I'd love to ask him. I wanted to know what it said, but I just didn't know.
Well, if any of us knows, it'll be him.
Excellent. Well, I hope the rest of your friends finish a good night's sleep, and then we can get going.
Sounds good.
All right. If you have nothing else to say to her, she happily lets you, finish your final watch before people get up.
Yeah, I mean, just maybe small talk or whatever, but nothing else to get information, really.
Sure. Makes sense. As the rest of you guys kind of come to, you are able to see, these two very differing figures. One is about 3 feet tall, green seaweed colored hair. The other is Avon, very much different. But they seem to be kind of chatting amiably. But yeah, the rest of you guys, do you say anything as you're kind of approaching this Fey folk?
Trell, this is Bubbles on the surface. She's been over near the tower on the island. She saw some writing on it and wants to know if you can help her understand what it said.
I'd be very happy to.
All right. She kind of pulls a stick out of the creek and starts to try to sketch just the symbols she remembers. She can't really read and write, but she's determined what the pictures look like. Go ahead and make a linguistics check as you try to look at what she's writing.
I'm gonna use investigative mind, so I get to roll twice and take the better.
Yeah, I'd say so. Okay, 28, definitely better. You are able to identify this language she's writing as Aklo, language of a lot of fetchlings, dark species from the Plane of Shadows and things like that, or the Darklands. But clearly a dialect of it that hasn't been spoken for a very long time. Since you succeeded that by a certain margin, you could follow it up with a knowledge religion check.
I'm gonna use my master lore and give myself a 20 on the die roll, so that's a 30.
Okay. It takes you a second to figure it out, just because, she can't really write. As you look at it, though, you realize that not only is this Aklo, this is a fragment of the beginning of some very blasphemous prayers to a rather ancient deity. You would know that these are prayers to Yog Sothoth, one of the old outer gods, usually attributed to things like gates, space, time. Other titles include the Lurker at the Threshold, the Key in the Gate, the Watcher. You know he's not necessarily an evil deity, but he's a very chaotic deity.
Okay, Yog Saget, got it.
But yeah, Bob Saget is the god here. I'll spell it because it is fucking weird spelling. Yog Sothoth. Just feels so unnatural to say two th sounds so close to each other. Alrighty. Well, yeah, so you decipher that from her range. She's like, well, are you guys ready to help me in the pool up ahead? I could let one of you breathe underwater for a bit, if that would help.
Evan stands up and stretches and says, I think we're ready.
Well, what exactly do we need moved?
Oh, there's like a couple boulders down there. They keep stacking up, and if they get any higher, they're gonna divert the creek to over more to the southeast, and I don't like that. I want to go to the southwest, because swa is a more fun sound than sick, you know what I mean?
Like, how big of boulders are we talking here? Like...
Oh, like half me. She's like 4 foot, or 3 feet tall, so you think like a rock that is at least 1.5 foot long, boulder. And she's like, I think if you moved at least 3 of them, that would do it. I'm glad you like that. It felt like a very Faye motivation. Yeah, so basically it would be 3 strength checks. And one of you can have water breathing. And she kind of like takes... she can take like a bit of mud and like sketch a little face sigil on you, which will let you breathe underwater for... Let me double check her caster level. For quite a while. Oh, yeah, for like 12 hours.
Is that Ludwig?
What was that again? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I was asking Ludwig if that worked for him.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I can become a octopus or a shark to help, so take your pick.
Do we all need to be in the water for best, or can some of us be out?
At least she says, she's like, however many of you are needed to get the job done.
Well, I'm just trying to assess the situation.
Well, I mean, by now she would have probably led you guys down to this part of the pool. Let's just give me a perception check as you look around. It's pretty clear water, you know, whatever she does to protect this creek, she does a pretty good job. Oh yeah, I would say, and a nat 20 as well. I would say between, Trell, Ludwig, and Avon here, you guys think mechanically it's probably like 3 DC 15 strength checks. In game, you're like, oh, it's like not a negligible amount of effort, but pretty confident that you guys could do it, even if those who aren't strength builds.
What's the rules on combining strength checks? Can you do aid another?
I believe you can, but I think it's a higher DC. Let me double check. It's been a while since I've run that. Maybe that was just a weird thing my DM was doing. 'Cause, yeah, I think it's just still, you still aid another, yeah. So it's the flat 10 like normal.
All right, and Ludwig, you're the strongest.
Yeah.
All right.
I can make a stronger if we wish.
Make what?
Make yourself stronger, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it may not be necessary.
I'll hold off on that for now.
All right, so I will attempt to aid Ludwig. No, I failed to aid Ludwig. Man, that's a bad roll.
Is anyone here taking the water breathing.
Well, how much will that help?
Basically, you would need to. You won't be able to make 2 checks or 2 assists in a row if you're not be able to breathe water. You have to go back up as you kind of strain yourself.
I'll take the water breathing.
Okay. She draws that little mud sigil kind of like on the side of your neck, and you gain water breathing for the next half a day. That being said, with the other 2, you guys do successfully shift the first boulder. There are 2 more big ones that, if moved, will save her creek from going the wrong way. So I assume, Ludwig, you're still taking point on the second left?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone who wants to assist, go ahead. Oh my god. not even necessary. Trell, you go down, you kind of like are really struggling to get like a grip under the rock, and then Ludwig just swims down behind you, like fully lifts it, and just with legs fucking swims away.
No, I just push it. I'm a shark right now.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you're a shark. Sorry. Yeah, you move out of the way as this powerful water predator just pushes it past you. Okay, there's only 1 more boulder to move.
All right. Oh, Ludwig, you let us down.
Oh, no. Truly a shark's weakness is you happen to, like, rather than someone punching the shark's nose to incapacitate it, you, like, run your own nose into the boulder too hard and kind of stun yourself for a second. There is a brief moment where, so basically it'll be Ludwig with, I think, Trell had the water breathing, right? So just Ludwig and Trell on the next check.
Yeah.
As she's kind of watching you intently. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you guys are able to pull up. Avon, you kind of surface, and the others surface briefly after you. As Bubbles on Bubbles on surface claps her hands very excitedly. Oh, excellent! I didn't know if you all be able to do that. Well, promise is a promise. I guess I should... Hold on. You see she, like, very speedily swims away down the creek and then swims back to you guys. Looks like she has a couple items she starts pulling out of her pockets, as well as a small wooden, but, like, banded with iron lockbox that she pops open. There are 5 potions inside. Look almost like a clear alcohol. They're perfectly see-through. As she passed along, she's like, I drank the 6th one, but it just made me tingly. If anyone wants to spellcraft those bottles, feel free. Trell, you are positive that what is on display here used to be a 6-pack of water breathing, has since, like, you know, 1 was drank and she already could breathe water, so it didn't seem to do anything. But the other 5 seem to be fine. Also, it, like, never comes up, but I always love the rule in Pathfinder that instead of spellcraft with a potion, you can make a perception check and just taste it a little bit and try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Fucking outstanding, honestly. All right.
Shooting spellcraft. Let me taste it.
And then she's gonna pull a few things from her pockets. This is the jewelry that she was talking about here. Cool. Sorry, I lost my page. Give me 1 moment. The first thing that you guys see, it looks like she has a set of, like, iron bracelets. On closer inspection, perhaps smaller bracers. And then additionally, she also pulls out a small necklace The necklace in question looks like a small hourglass that can kind of be almost time turner style. Like the hourglass can be rotated. I'd say if you're detecting that, you can tell that both of them appear to be magical. Okay.
29, 24.
The necklace would appear to be an Aegis of Recovery. Grants you +2 resistance bonus on all saving throws made to recover from a continuing effect, such as ongoing poison, daily saving throws, hold person spell, things like that. Additionally, if the wearer ever drops below 0, you are auto-healed for 2d8 +3, and then the amulet disintegrates. As for the bracers that you pulled out, those are... Where are they? Those would appear to be... Oh, whoops. Just knocked my own fucking headphone out of my ear. Those are what are known as burglar bracers. They look kind of like plain leather wristbands. However, they can transform themselves into masterwork thieves' tools. It's kind of just a magical way of concealing thieves' tools. Additionally, once per day while using the tools, you can take 10 on a single disabled device check, even when in immediate danger or distracted.
Very timely.
So, Aegis of Recovery, and Burglar's Bracers. And then the 5 pots of water breathing. Alright. Cool beans. Well, our lovely Nixie here is like, well, I hope those work out well for you, and, well, I told you, mister, that if I need to send you a message, I'll know where to find you.
Well, best of luck to you.
Thanks. And she just does like a jump, 3-point spin, and just dives back into the water. All right. So still pretty fucking early in the morning. You guys have the whole day ahead of you as you successfully help that Nixie with what she's got going on.
All right. I'm thinking we should come up here and explore that one.
Up in the middle?
Yeah.
All right. Let me reveal that. You would know that from this angle, you're basically going to have to cross that little, like, adjoining river that divides the top half of Tuskwater from the bottom half where Candlemere is.
Mm-hmm. Is that doable?
Yes. Let me double check. It would be either a group strength or a group swim check as you are trying to ford the river. Because at the moment, you guys could build one later, but at the moment there is not a bridge between those two.
Right. I think group strength check.
If we do swim, I can do Inspire Competence.
Swim it is.
It's fair.
So everybody gets a +2 to swim.
Okay, you guys make your way
So
to the
add 2
crossing.
to that.
16, okay. You are definitely good. 14. And then you need at least 3 successes. All right. So, with the current going, give me 1 second.
Well, I imagine Ludwig can transform if need be.
Yeah, Ludwig, if you want to just be a water creature, you don't really have to do this, but
Okay.
Since someone is getting swept away at the ford between the lakes, though, I would say since you're an octopus, if you think you have a different skill that'll be applicable, you could use that. But if not, Trell starts to drift away down the river with the 13. Someone can either make an acrobatics check to grab him, or perhaps the octopus could do what I would say either a strength check or something that you think is good with your suction cups.
Oh, I've got those boots on, so I'm going to try acrobatics.
Oh, okay. So the way you guys are fording, the river's not especially deep, just a bit fast. So even for a bit, you were kind of like you had to lead the horses, so they would actually come in. So you're kind of like on the side of your horse, holding on the saddle. You managed to like hook a boot into your saddle and lean all the way out, reaching your arm, and you are able to grab Trell. And you guys do make it across without any ill effects here. As Avon kind of, just forearm to forearm grabs you and hauls you back to your feet after you slip on some wet rocks. Alright, so you guys do the ford and then come up this way. Per the usual, feel free to figure out whether you would like to look for natural effects or humanoid made effects for survival or perception as you arrive at the new square around the Tuskwater. Avon, you're on the riverbank kind of catching your breath after that impressive acrobatics feat. Mishka seems to pick up the scent of something. I would say Nico as well, since they both have scent here. You guys see the two hounds kind of like wrinkle their noses and do like a little sneeze that, dogs do when they smell something nasty. Although you guys don't quite smell anything yet. It's Ludwig though, sorry, with 26. Ludwig, you look in the direction that the hounds are sniffing in, and you begin to see humanoid footprints, evidence of a few different cook fires around the coast over here. Seem to lead up to like this little divot right there, right across from like the act in water to the left. Up to you whether you guys are kind of just going for it, you guys trying to approach stealthily. What do you guys think you're doing here?
I think stealth is called for if we can manage.
All right. Let's do a group stealth check then. Okay, 2 solid ones right off the bat. And our rogue. Yeah, you guys are fine. Ludwig, you're having a bit of trouble as some of the ground is kind of getting a bit marshy near the edge of the lake here. If you kind of those like sucking boots that the sucking sound your boots make in the mud, you start to do that a bit much, and then like the other 3 kind of lead you to better parts of the ground, so you don't do that anymore. But that did beat her perception here. So give me 1 second. You guys see up ahead amidst this like small swamp on the eastern bank of the Tuskwater. You see a little hut. There's a wooden rack outside that has some fish that appear to be being salted hanging from it. The water around it looks rather fetid. Like, this is not a nice place that one would normally stay, and the smell starts to wash over you. You see there's a small wooden fence around this hut that is festooned with various crude fetishes crafted of, like, sticks, feathers, animal bones, a lone crow caws from the top of a nearby cypress tree. And you see outside, getting the scales off of a fish. Give me 1 moment to show you guys. There's the token I made for her. Okay. Bring her over so you guys can see. You see this woman working on that fish sitting outside of this gross little hut.
That's not a troll, is it?
You guys have seen some trolls, I believe. This does not look like a troll. I'd say go ahead and give me a nature check. Because she certainly doesn't look all the way human. All right, I think on the 19 and the 17 here, you think that this weird swamp witch looking person is probably of human birth. It would seem that she probably has some sort of magical or outsider or, some sort of non-human blood in her, even though she might have been born human. As you guys are looking as well, go ahead and you can either choose between, as you guys, look her over, you guys can choose once per person to either do a perception check on her setup or a knowledge arcana check on her setup. Okay. Ludwig, that 28 is going to give you something here, and the 18 is going to give you something as well. Trell, you think kind of similar to the hokum and fake magic that the shaman was doing in the Soot Scales tribe. A lot of these fetishes are made to look witchy but don't actually do anything. In fact, you see very few ingredients or anything else that a prepared caster might need. Trell, you get the sense this might be some sort of sorceress individual. On the 28, you're going to see something different here, Ludwig, as Trell investigates the magical aspects. Where is my art for this? Because I can't spell. That was the issue. You realize that, put the art in here because I think it's cool. It's not actually glowing yet, but you see a nearby scarecrow that she has erected. The crow briefly flies by, and the head of the scarecrow kind of turns to watch it for a hot second. And I just really like the scarecrow art they added to this book. It's a bit more intimidating than, there's a standard scarecrow art from, I think, the first bestiary, but it's not as scary as that one.
Well, this might be somewhat racist or something, but I'm going to detect evil.
What's the range on detect evil? I think you guys probably got close enough. It's 60 feet, right?
I think so.
Yeah, you're definitely within range here. Concentrate on a single item or individual. Yeah, you focus on her. Okay. You have a brief moment of surprise. She doesn't seem to be evil. She's not giving off an evil aura.
I'm not surprised. I just, wanted to check.
Fair enough.
Right,
so what do you guys do?
Out and greet her. Hello, woman of the swamp.
She kind of whips around in surprise, having not heard you guys approach. Kind of narrows her eyes and drops the fish. What?
Sorry
what are
for
you?
startling you.
She kind of snaps her fingers behind her a little bit, and you see the scarecrow doesn't attack right away, but you can see the scarecrow starts to walk up next to her, kind of bodyguard style.
Ah, that's clever. Did you make that yourself?
Yes, well, I had to make it with all the rumors you lot keep throwing around about me.
Have we heard any rumors about her? I'm asking Trell.
Not to my recollection.
Yep, we must have missed those. Sorry.
Well, at least if not you, your old... your other humans. She's like, they call me... well, lots of names, but the most common is the old beldame. You guys know there's more of a... Go ahead.
Wasn't there a missing kid that they thought...
as she says the name, you do recall that is a missing kid right now. And there seems to be some thought that there is a woman that might be responsible.
Well, people are stupid. We're
Sure.
where do you know where the Stag Lord?
She kind of waves her hands in annoyance. That old fool with the old fort over there. Yes, I saw he has been dethroned, if all the construction is to be of any indicator. Kind of peers you all.
Yeah, we dethroned him, so we're trying to build a nice town.
Well, tell that to the influx of residents that have been coming into the Kame lands recently.
Okay.
Look, they all think that I steal children and I eat the youth. Call me Old Beldame. What an insulting name. I will have you know, my name is Elga Virniex.
Can you spell
outside
that
of
for Trout?
Yeah, hold on. I'll paste it in. You guys would know this is not really a modern day vernacular in real life, but it would be in Galarian. It's kind of an old medieval insult. Basically, it's like an old woman, particularly like an old ugly woman. Also, it's like doubly insulting that they call her the old Beldame, because that's already what Beldame means, is an old woman. So it's literally just like the old ugly woman.
Well, I can't say that it's completely inaccurate.
I mean, yeah. She's had a rough life.
I got a 22 on sense motive when she said she didn't take the children.
Sense motive? You think she's telling the truth. She seems pretty annoyed. She's not an evil monster, and yet, likely because of her looks or whatever she normally does, she has been kind of chased out of regular society and is now living in this tiny marsh hut on the side of the lake.
Okay. Do you know there is a missing child? Do you have any idea where we could find it or who might have taken it? I mean, as far as we know, he may have just wandered off into the swamp.
And if I did know something, what's to stop you all from going back and saying you rescued him from the evil old hag?
Honesty?
Do you know anything about Abadar?
I am familiar. I admit that I am not a devout worshipper of the Lord of the First Vault.
Well, I'm one of his paladins, so I'm certainly not going to go tell everybody you did something that you didn't.
Give me a diplomacy check. I'll say go ahead and add a +4 on that. Let's see, that's going to be a 21. She kind of stops for a minute and... Well, I suppose... Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was thinking.
Yeah, I think she would definitely kind of hesitating, like, well, I suppose a holy knight like you wouldn't lie. All right, look, I didn't take him, despite what they all say. I think who you're actually looking for is the Lizard King.
Oh, what?
The Lizard King, him and his tribe of lizard folk. They are not adverse to kidnapping humans, and she kind of like broadly gestures at like the deboned salted fish hanging from the railing next to her.
And salting them?
Well, eating them and salting them. I mean, they're savages, but I like to think they probably have some understanding of seasonings. But that's not the point.
Where are they located at?
She
common?
She got a friend who's like, I've had dealings with them before. I've been able to scare them off. She just kind of like gestures at that. A brief like flash of magic kind of goes off of her fingertips. And he's like, between that and this, she holds up this old wooden staff carved from a very crooked root. Looks like she's carved some sigils in the side of it. And he's like, between those two things, well, they don't come and attack me anymore, but I don't deal with their lot. However, I will tell you, from here, they are a little bit southwest of our current position. Are you familiar with the Candlemere Tower?
Yes.
Due west from them, you'd be able to find the lizard folk.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That is very useful. Now, how long have you been here?
She pauses to think, like, it's hard to say when all the days run together and I only have, well, him for company. She gestures behind her like the creepy old scarecrow. It's like, I would say at least a few decades.
All right. Get with Ben, my scribe, and so we can mark down what territory is yours, and then we'll record it back in New Absalom.
And Ben the scribe, ex-Ben the bandit, pops out next to you as the other horse. It's like, I always follow a little bit further back from the main party lest I get killed brutally.
Yeah, much safer.
It truly is. Your Elga? He's like, yes. All right. You will uphold my claim to this part of the riverbank or the lakeside?
Absolutely. And if anyone gives you any trouble, you just send word to Baron Avon at New Absalom.
Very well. I will contact you. I suppose having a baron in my debts is rather exciting. Look, since you all are going out of your way to prove this, I will let you all know that the lizard folk's position along the Merk River. You should approach cautiously, as it gets a bit marshy, but there is a lot of open ground around their small fort. There is, unless you wish to get wet or go through the various stakes, there is only one means of entrance through the eastern gate. And, well, be careful. As I said, they're not adverse to eating bipedal folk.
Well, thank you very much. It was charming to make your acquaintance.
Yes, very well. Ben, looks very nervous. He, sits, the scarecrow brings him over, a tree stump as a stool and just kind of, presses his shoulders down so he sits on it. It's like, alright, I'll take some notes.
Would you be interested in any business from town?
Business? You think they would buy some of my wares?
It's possible. I could put in a good word that there's a wise woman down here who can be entreated to be compassionate and charitable.
I'd say give me another diplomacy check here. Definitely lower DC after we've already had some successes. Oh yeah. She nods and she's like, well, I suppose it'd be nice sometimes to go into town and maybe if they thought I was productive, they would, well, take me more seriously. The young old ugly woman. Somewhere there's a kid that's like, wait, what? I don't... Are we insulting her? What's happening? She's like, well, I am fairly skilled at both the alchemical arts and crafting of arcane items and sundries, and if I had the time, she gestures at the scarecrow. She's like, I've made constructs before, if that's of any interest, if you think people would pay for that service.
Hey, Avon.
Yeah.
Motion him over, kind of, not really out of earshot, just kind of turn her back and talk to you for a second.
Sure.
Wouldn't that be a decent defense for our kingdom?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if she can produce them in quantity, but I gotta say, that is the coolest looking scarecrow I've ever seen.
Indeed it is. I mean, as general, I think it's at least a decent option to explore.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely some possibilities there. Grillin, as you ask her about her heritage, she kind of looks over you and she's like, well, I imagine you've faced similar hesitations from the folk around here, but it feels good, I'll admit. You see kind of her cranky attitude withers a little bit. She's like, most times people don't want to know my origins. I am human, it is true, but I admit I have the blood of the Fae running, well, deep in my veins. It doesn't hit every generation in my family, but when it strikes, the Fae blood will, yes, grant us powers and magic without very much study, but there are physical changes as well. Our skin will wither, our ears grow pointed, we get a green cast to our skin, and, well, she points at her eyes, she's like, most of my relatives that this happened to, people find the solid black eyes to be off-putting. She puts in, like, quotation marks with her fingers. She's like, what about you? You certainly don't have their skin tone. She kind of, like, nods at the humans.
He laughs, but I'm lucky. Sure, let's go with lucky enough to come from a family of tieflings that are abyssal descent, not very popular.
Oh.
And don't get me started on eyes. He gestures at his purple eyes.
Intriguing.
People are
I
really
had
weirded
met
out by different colored eyes.
I'd met Hellspawn before, but never one of abyssal blood. You must have a fascinating family.
He goes very silent. This is what they've been better.
Fair.
And that's all he will say. He will not elaborate.
Alright, fair enough. he's growling. Duh. I'll give it Troll, like, it's so funny to imagine Troll being just like, do you not know? He's been with us for like a couple months. Alright, so yeah, pretty successful negotiating with her. Does anyone have any questions for her before you kind of let your scribe finish up the business?
Does she have anything for sale now?
She's like, if you have some gold, I could see what I have in stock right now.
Yeah.
She kind of, she'll bustle over to the cabin. Sorry, the cabin's generous. It's a fucking hut. And she'll bring out a few items. So the first thing she brings out is a small wand. And she's like, well, those of you that like fire, are you familiar with the Burning Hands spell? I use this wand to cast it sometimes if the pests in the area get a little close. Not humans, mind you, I don't like them, but I'm not gonna kill them. But, you know, woodchucks and the like. So she's got a Wand of Burning Hands, caster level 5. She's like, I think I have about 15 uses left on this one. Then she pulls out a second item. It looks to be a shawl that she has knitted herself. And she's like, well, it's a bit different than they have in the big cities, but this is a shawl of resistance. And it functions as a cloak of resistance. It is just shaped like a woolen shawl that she has knitted. And she has 2 more items after that at the moment. She pulls out, she's like, now this is... Don't try to kill me or anything. She pulls out a mummified hand on a gold chain.
What's that?
It was donated. It's an old elf hand. It's a hand of the mage. Whoever wears it can use, this at will. And she kind of, puts it on for a second and just casts Mage Hand, lifts some of the stuff up around her.
Have to know magic to do that?
No, as long as you are wearing it. I could give it to a man-at-arms or an archer in the castle.
That would be awesome. I totally want to cast Mage Hand.
He's like, it's not super expensive. I suppose in light of the deals in the city I could part with it for a bit of a discount, perhaps 700 gold pieces. Also, the idea of her being friends with Boken is fucking hysterical. It's like, what an iconic pair they would make. So she said that was about 700. And then she's like, one second, I have an old scroll I haven't been using somewhere. She's kind of like, I think I left it under my mattress. Hold on. She pulls out a rather lengthy vellum scroll, and she's like, this is a rather potent one I'm fond of. Took me a while to scribe this. This is a scroll of legend lore. Lets you cast the legend lore spell. I'll put that over here. One sec.
What do you think, Trow?
Might be something that would intrigue you.
Could be useful. How much for that in the shawl?
Well, the scroll itself I could part with for, we'll say, 400 gold pieces. It cost me a lot of incense to make. And, the shawl itself... I suppose I could let it go for... 1,000 gold pieces? The enchantment wasn't too bad, but the knitting took me quite a while.
Okay, we can do that.
And we can get the hand?
Sure,
The hand?
We'll take all three.
Alright, I'll happily sell them. Alright, so you guys get the shawl, the hand of the mage, and the scroll of legend lore. Alright. Do we want to take after the interaction, we want to take a quick bathroom break? With our shorter time span we were agreeing on, it's about halfway.
Yeah.
Alright. Yep. I'll see you guys in 5 minutes or so. I'm gonna work on unpausing the stream for a second while he comes on back. Muted? Cool. Oh yeah, he is muted. Alright, well, we'll hop in for now. So did you guys want to spend the rest of that day finishing exploring the hex where the hag is? See, okay, hold on, let me get a map for you guys. And okay, so you got two choices. You could make it back to your settlement tonight. You just might risk running into something in the dark on the way because the sun will set, or you could make camp here for the night. Which would you guys rather do?
So we camp near the old woman, and I can tell the stories to everybody.
Hell yeah, you can get in here and get a good old story time going. Let's give me a sense motive as you guys set up camp nearby. That, first of all, amazing storytelling. Is that for sense motive as well, though?
No, that was just storytelling.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my sense motive is less.
I think 22 will swing it as well. Ludwig, she's definitely putting on this, like, cantankerous old lady act. But I'd say at least Ludwig thinks, like, oh, she's, perhaps a little grateful for the company. Oh my god. You do a beautiful interpretive dance behind Trell's story. Alright. With her nearby, that is going to change the odds. You hear there's a brief ruckus at some of like the marsh trees nearby, but the scarecrow does its job and scares them away. Okay. So it is the next morning.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, cool. I was about to at you just in case. They were just winding up the night doing some performances. You guys make through the night, no problems. There's a brief moment that's a little scary, but the scarecrow scares it away.
All right, nice going, Scarecrow.
All right. With that in mind, you guys have swung a few different things here. Are we making a pit stop at town, or are we trying to head elsewhere?
I'm thinking we should follow up on the kid.
On the kid?
Objections?
Rotate the horse. I don't hear any objections. Alright, imagine if that's the case, you're probably just gonna like ride through this hex to the one where she indicated.
Yep. And then we'll see if we can have Ludwig fly and scout. Because I think that would be a good idea. It is the king of the lizard folk, after all.
Oh yeah, Ludwig, if you want to do a quick scouting sortie. And if that's the case, I'm actually just going to reveal the map from above without any shadows then. You're able to hone in on it pretty fast. It is about, let me get the ruler out. About almost 9 miles from you guys, as the Ludwig flies, is the marshy area near that river that you're looking for. I'd say definitely able to see it from the air. It's not particularly hidden. I will zoom out for the stream's sake as well. The bottom right of this map is just kind of an example of the various dome-like structures you see as houses. All those like empty circles in the middle of the fort, that's what you're looking at the Isle of the lizard folk. I would say now that you're over it, it's easy to find it, but let's look for some details, Ludwig. If you want to make a perception check. 21. That is not bad at all. So first of all, I'd say on a 21, at any given time, moving between the huts, it seems like there's maybe some underground activity going on too. But you're confident that there are at least 12 lizard folk at the very least. You can also see moving amongst them are various types of bigger lizards, not intelligent ones. Go ahead and make a nature check.
Sure.
The first ones that you spot appear to be giant monitor lizards, which are like large-sized monitor lizards. They're yellow with the big frills. And then you also spot a couple of caiman crocodiles. You would know this particular species is called a blood caiman. They're a bit fiercer than regular ones.
Okay.
And in addition, finally, on the 21... It's a little hard to narrow down exactly where it's coming from, but you kind of do a quick swoop down, and you're pretty sure you can hear like some shouting of a child. Seems to be coming from the west side of the encampment. So this end.
Hey. I'll head back to the party and relay that information.
Okay. Sounds like we better get going. Did you detect the approach that Mrs. Beldame told us about?
You're able to see that there is like the gate on this side, is the eastern gate. As for the approach, you can tell that like as long as you don't deviate too far away from like what's on this map, they've built it on like a shallower part of the marsh, if that makes sense. So it's not like deep water here, but it is definitely difficult terrain if you're trudging through it.
But rideable on a horse?
I believe the horse would still be affected by difficult terrain, but it is still capable of going on it.
Alright. So, I think we will approach non-stealthily on horseback.
Non-stealthily on horseback? Okay. If you guys are approaching this part of the map, you guys are coming in from the east side, so feel free to kind of put yourself anywhere, I would say by the compass rose. I don't know if you would make it all the way to the front before shenanigans might occur.
Do we have a banner? We should have a banner.
I don't think you guys have made a banner yet.
Hey, Ben, take a note. We need to make a banner.
Right away, sir. I'll get the seamstresses on it. Is there what's?
We need to come up with a design first.
He's like, do you have a design in mind? Well, I could sketch it. I'm not a very good artist. You guys only just taught me about scholarly things, but I'll give it a whirl.
I'll have to give it some thought.
Fair enough. All right. So you guys are approaching from that side. Give me one moment. So, as you guys are approaching this island, you can see a low, muddy hillock protrudes from the middle of the river, surrounded by a palisade of outward-facing sharpened wooden stakes. Inside, tendrils of smoke rise from a handful of smaller mounds clustered around the single, larger mound in the center. There is the simple wooden gate you guys see on the eastern-facing side. Seems to be the only, like, purposeful entrance on the fortified island. So if you guys are riding up to it, you do see that in front of the gate, well, not like just inside, but the gate, as you can see, is not very well constructed. You can see them through it. You see there are a pair of lizard folk looking out at you. There's everyone, there's people, humans approaching on horses. What I don't recognize.
Hello, the fort.
What was that?
Hello, the fort.
The fork?
Hey, who's in there?
We are lizard folk. Be on your way if you want your lives.
We've come for the child.
Nope. No child here.
All right. We'll have to come in and search for ourselves then.
No. If you come any closer, we'll kill you.
All right. So I pull out my bow and knock an arrow. Or two, depending on how rapid shot works.
So, you hear them start shouting. If anyone knows Draconic, that is what they are actually speaking, the lizard folk. But in Draconic, it's like, to arms! To arms! We are assaulted!
They're salted.
Are
Pepper myself.
they still peeking through the crack in the fence?
I'd say before they have time to, like, duck to the sides, I'd say be able to get at least one shot off of them. And there's two there.
Alright.
I'd say probably the regular AC, just because they, like, did watch you approach.
Oh, gotta turn off a couple of things.
Ooh, excellent initiative.
If anyone add that to my token, it wasn't clicked.
Yes, give me 1 second. So I'm gonna have to start rolling in some people on the GM layer in a second. What was yours, 21?
Yeah.
Um, 16 against the lizard folk here. Your arrow does impact, but it does look like their scales are actually relatively thick. That doesn't puncture it.
That was a warning shot.
Oh, we're sure a warning shot, of course. Nico, you're up first. None of my hidden beasties have arrived yet.
Okay. Is the gate open or closed?
The gate is closed. It's just a little ramshackle.
Can Nico get through it, or does it have to get open first?
Let me double check. I believe. He could try a strength check to burst through it, but it is not. He's not able to squeeze through it.
Okay. Give me your head. Listed there for now. You said strength check?
Yes, it'd be a strength check. Strength, that's actually enough as Nico just fucking shatters through the front gates. Holy shit. Do you have enough movement to make it all the way there?
If I double move, yeah.
It is difficult terrain, remember, because you are in the marsh.
Yeah, if I still double move.
Damn, wolves are fucking fast. Okay.
Yep.
You guys watch the wolf just fucking batter down the gate here. Ludwig, you are still in advance. Oh, you guys can see my monitor lizard. Well, fair enough.
Oh,
My
cover that
secrets.
thing up, Ben.
Sorry. But none of my other secret boys that you can't see them yet. So Ludwig, shall you follow your wolf?
Yes. 65. And what, difficult terrain's adding 5 feet per square?
Yep.
Yes, correct.
So,
So you should be able to go 30.
40.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Speedy. All right.
Yeah, I should be able to get double move there as well.
Well, no,
Oh,
because you can only go 40 total on a double move.
Let's see.
double move's 80. Is it not?
Well, yeah, but you only do half that.
Right, yes. So,
Yes, correct. So you can move 40 feet across the swamp. If the double move is 80.
yeah. So,
Right. You could run, it's just a penalty to AC. Running is
Yeah.
4 times.
yeah, we'll run then. Screw it.
Okay.
Run there.
Just fucking sprinting across here. Okay.
You want strength check? That
Sorry.
too?
What was that, sorry?
You want strength check? We go through the other side of the gate?
No, he basically hit it like in the gap in the middle, kind of just burst it open.
Okay.
So you're fine. All right. Next up. Yep, that is gonna be next. Grellin, what is your bonus to initiative?
3.
Oh, okay, never mind. Then you're before them. I'll make you 20.5. Alright, Grellin, it is you next.
Garland will also run, but will end up just short of the gate.
Okay, okay. Fair enough. In that case,
You inspire confidence. Or inspire courage, sorry.
in that case, next is going to be one of our. Oh, whoops! Sorry, it auto went to you. Tossed it to Trell, but it overrules my GM nonsense. Come on, let me line you up. Okay, I guess I'd have to. This thing is too sensitive. Layer, token layer. Now may I give my secrets? Okay. You guys hear 2 loud hisses as some creatures are gonna come out. Let's get their full movement here. Yeah, they're gonna do some moving. 2 of those large blood caimans are coming towards you guys. Next is Trell.
Trail moved up and then started inspire courage.
Okay. Next is Avon, then.
Okay. I will move a little bit closer to get with point blank range.
All right, you move into point blank range. The first one is a miss. Second one is a hit. Which one are you shooting at?
Have either of them been hit yet?
No one's been hit yet.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
All right, fair enough. We'll say you go for the lower of the lizard folk right there. With that extra damage, that one is going to go down in one shot. So get one of my boys out of there. And then it's going to be this boy's turn.
Oh, hang on. I also want to remind them that you can surrender at any time. We don't have to keep fighting.
Fair.
We just want the boy.
Good shout. However, you guys see a different, stronger looking lizard man. I'll make him bigger for a hot second. Sprinting out with a trident in one hand and a javelin in the other. And he is actually going to double move up here. Oh, he should have been after my other lizard folk. Sorry. Well, he's still going to double move. All right, the remaining of the first set of lizard folk is going to go in on Ludwig here.
Cool.
This is going to be with a Morning Star and then a Bite and a Claw as secondary naturals.
Cool.
So let's go with the Morning Star first. Morning Star is a 19.
Hits.
For... Ooh, terrible roll. 4 damage. Next up is the Bite. That's definitely a miss. And Claw is a 12. That is also a miss. Okay, and then Big Boy would have gone. Done his double move. Next, the boys you saw me sneak in with a roll earlier is going to be the Frilled Lizards. Monitor Lizards. Let me just double check their speed, 'cause they're faster than the crocodiles. Yes, they certainly are. No, they would leave room for the crocodile, so... Okay. They are also going to double move up, as the camp appears to be rallying to the cry. Next, you see another set of 2 more lizard folk are running out here. Well, actually, sorry, there should be... This is the set that there are 4 of. Alright. They're gonna start moving up as well. The front 3 are close enough. Well, the back one will just risk it, even with less of a chance. They are all going to hurl a hail of javelins. 2 at Ludwig, 2 at Nico. Let's start with the 2 on Nico. Javelin 1 is a crit, but doesn't confirm on an at 1, so it's regular hit. The other one is a 19. That doesn't hit Nico, right?
Nope.
Okay. In that case, 2 more at Ludwig. Those are a 23 and a 22, respectively.
Oh, they both hit.
Okay. So let's start with the 1 on Nico. That is gonna be 6 damage on Nico. And then first one on Ludwig is a 3. Second one on Ludwig is a 4.
Yeah.
All right. I believe that's everyone who's coming to you guys right now. Yeah, that's everybody now. Okay, so we're going to go back to the top of the order with Nico.
We're going to attack the lizard folk right in front of us.
Okay. Oh my god, yeah, that's absolutely a bite and a hit.
And then... Rip.
And he goes down. That lizard folk is prone.
Okay,
Whoops,
I'm
that's
back.
wrong.
Is everybody still alive?
Everyone's still alive. There's just a lot of various breeds of lizard pushing up right now. And this lizard folk just got proned by Nico. Okay. If that's all, then it is Ludwig.
So we will bite on the one that's down first.
Go for it. That is going to savage the one that was tripped, and he's done.
Cool. And then we'll claw the first monitor lizard here.
All right, go for the hit on the monitor. Proning your dudes. That is a miss. The second one is a hit. But the monitor is not quite bloodied yet. That brings us to Grellin. Basically, once you cross the gate threshold, it's no longer difficult terrain.
He will move up just behind Nico and throw a dagger at this.
At the blood came in, go for it. It appears to bounce off the hardened hide of this crocodile as it lets out a loud opening its jaws wide. Alright, that's going to be the blood caimans. One is going for Ludwig here, one is going for Nico. Okay, can't do the same turn. Alright. Well, in case anyone's wondering how crocodiles got here so fast on land, like one time a day they can sprint. So they like have a sprint ability. Alright, so 2 bites, first one Ludwig. That is a nat 1. However, the one on Nico is a 24.
Yeah, that hits.
Right, this is 10 damage to Nico. And what is his CMD?
19.
19. They got a 17. Does not get caught in the crocodile's jaws.
Thank God.
Alright, neither of you guys are going to get death rolled next turn. That brings us back to Trell.
Take a double move.
Okay.
I'll just run there.
Start moving rapidly toward the gates. And then Avon, that is you.
Going to activate my divine bond and
Okay.
detect evil.
Yes, you're doing it as a cone.
Sure.
The cone. Let me just double check. It might take a round to. Or do you want to focus on one person particularly, or because I think the cone takes a few rounds to do.
Where's the big guy?
The one who sprinted out with like the trident is right behind the Crocs there.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. If you're focusing on him, to be fair, it doesn't look like he's shouting out some orders here. You realize that he is not evil.
Okay. I will not attempt to smite him then.
Fair enough. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. It's gonna bring us
Divine Bond
to...
is a standard action.
Yes, your weapon does start to glow with power, though. Alright, those are our... both. Actually, I'm gonna take them out of the order, because that set of 2 lizard folk are dead. Which brings us straight to this guy. What is he gonna do here? Javelin's kind of a waste. All right. He is going to attempt a demoralize check on... Who do you think's a big threat right now? Probably on you, Grellin. So let's see. Oh, it is not going to be very much. Alright, looking at your stats here. Sorry, excuse me. So 10, you are going to be shaken for 2 rounds, Grellin.
Did you include the +2 from his Inspire Courage?
Does that add to the modifier of Demoralize?
that adds against fear effects and whatnot. Fear.
I would say it adds it in then, because it's basically he's rolling it. It's 10 plus hit dice plus Wisdom modifier. But if you're, I would say this would apply because this is a fear effect. So adding in a +2. In that case, it is not exceeded by another 5. So yes, that does matter. So you're only shaken for 1 round. He can do that without using his standard because of book shenanigans. And then he is going to take his trident, and he is going to try to throw it over the crocodiles into Grellin. Grellin, that is a 19 to hit. Okay, in that case... that is going to be another... Or actually, I haven't hit yet, but that is 16 damage. Alright, that is the end of the Lizard King's turn. I'll say as a free action, he will shout. He's just like, "You dry land dwellers don't know our ways. Leave us and be spared." That is the monitor lizards. One of them is going to attempt a climb check to clamber over the wall. And with his little hooky feet, he does. I mean, it would appear that ways might include kidnapping children, yes. And then he is very fast in the water, so he'll be able to finish out that movement over here. This is 5, 10. He is going to attempt to bite you, Avon. That is a 20, not nat. If that works, that is 9 damage. Make a fortitude save, and what is your CMD? Because he's got the poison and the grab abilities.
And my CMD is 22.
22? So he will succeed at the grapple, but you do resist the poison. You can kind of see he's got like these like greenish drool coming off of his teeth. You fight that off, but you are grappled. Alright, that is our better lizard folk here. What are they gonna do?
Ben, what about the other lizard?
Oh, sorry. That one is going to take a bite at Ludwig. Oh my god, another nat 1 on Ludwig. What is happening? Ludwig, the lizards do not want to tangle with you right now. Alright, kind of a clusterfuck at the gate right now. They're much worse at climbing. But the Lizard King directs, he's like, 2 of you, throw. The others, clamber over the sides. So 2 of them are going to move up to get better at throwing. It's going to take all their movement if they succeed. They do succeed at the climb check, but they basically use up all their movement getting to, like, right here. Alright. However, Avon, you do see that they have, like, partially submerged in the, like, waist-deep water. It looks like they're getting ready to swim.
Okay.
Back to Nico.
We'll go on this one here.
Okay. Big old Cayman. Nico tries to attack, but still wary of those big jaws. Darts away before getting bitten right there. Ludwig.
We'll go after the other Cayman.
Okay.
Fight first off.
15. That is just gonna do it, yes.
Excellent.
I did apply the extra damage, but yeah, with a 17, it would even more hit than just barely.
And claws.
Claws. Oh, both claws are definitely coming out. I will say the blood cayman seem a bit more durable than your average crocodile, but that being said, that is going to drop this one pretty far down in the red. As your claws just seem to open up a gap on the soft underbelly. Grellin, that is you.
He will throw his second dagger at this other monitor.
The monitor, go for it. That will do it. The injured monitor lizard is now bloodied. Any movement anywhere, or just sticking there? Because if you're sticking there, it is time for the crocodilicuses to move. Alright, I'm going to have the crocodiles... Oh, gotta crack my neck. Same thing as before. They're both trying to go for this death roll ability here. Will there be a... sneak attack would not happen there, because it doesn't... He can see you. And you're not flanking or anything like that. Okay, not a nat 1 this time, Ludwig. 17 in your current form.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay. In that case, you're going to take 9 damage, and it's going to go for the grapple. That is, 27. I assume he's got you in the jaws.
Yes.
Okay, so 9 damage, and you're up in that crocodile's jaws. The other Cayman is going for Nico. Another fucking nat 1. These crocs are blowing it. Trell, that is you.
I'm going to flank this monitor lizard and swing.
Go for it. That'll do. You crack it across. It doesn't even see you coming with the frills up trying to scare Avon. I forgot to put the symbol on you, Avon, but it's your turn, and you are currently grappled in the lizard's jaws.
Okay. I will.
Sorry, excuse me. Do escape artist, try to take control of the grapple, one-handed weapons, all that classic stuff. Well, I guess if you needed a weapon, you'd have to drop the bow.
Right. I will attempt to escape using my CMB.
Okay, trying to break out with your CMD.
My horse is going to attempt to aid me in that.
Okay, the horse rears up on its hooves. I would say that's fair. You have the combat heavy or combat light? Fresh
Light.
memory. Light. Do you have the stats up, or do you want me to roll for that?
Roll for it.
Okay. Let's see if he assists. Oh, yeah, for sure. Gives you that +2. Your combat trained horse rears up and just hooves the lizard. And with that distraction, it like lets out a hiss and drops you out of its mouth. You wiggle free.
All right.
So no longer grappled. And technically it never brought you prone or anything, so you are free to still have a move action, yeah. Although if you move back that far, it will proc an op attack.
It's going to anyway because it's difficult terrain.
Oh, that is true. It is double train. Okay, oh, I don't think it's going to hit you, though. That is a... Nope, 13. You're good.
Okay.
Alright, that brings us to our leader. Grelin, right before he starts acting, you see the trident that is you kind of pulled out of yourself disappears and reappears in his hand. He is going... Oh, yeah, go for your swift action, lay on hands. He is going to huck that trident again. This time... Yeah, probably still at Grelin, because he thinks the Croc's going to handle the front, too. Grelin, you deftly dodge out of the way as the trident arcs down again. That brings us back to our lizards. Its bigger lizard friend is currently trying to eat Ludwig, but it is still going to try to get a piece of meat out of that. Wow, even with grappled penalties, that is going to be a miss. The other lizard...
Ludwig, you sure?
I'm very sure. It rolled a 2.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was not good. These, I don't know what it is. These lizards should be hitting Ludwig way more. Okay. Yeah. The lizard, the other monitor is not super intelligent, so I'm going to give it a 50-50 if it tries to rush after Avon or not. It does not. It's going to go for a bite on you, Trell. That is a 17.
That misses.
Right? You parry it away with your book. It frills its neck out in anger. And that is going to be our stronger lizard folk. Let's start with the ones outside of the gate, because now they can ignore that difficult terrain. They're going to start powering through the water towards Avon. However, one of them is still going to have to double move. But he's going to try to surround. The one that did not double move Avon, he is going to try and hit you just one attack, because he had to move. This is with his Morning Star. That is a 15 on the Morning Star, which does not hit, I believe.
No.
Okay, that's... Oh, sorry, the other two over here are going to throw 2 more javelins. One at Nico, one at Grelin. Nico's is a 10, Grelin, yours a 12. You guys dodged their javelins. Looks like they are starting to run out of those. Not many more to throw. Nico, it is you.
You're gonna bite the same crocodile over here?
Alright, the bottom one? Or the top one?
Yep.
Okay, bottom one. That is absolutely a hit. For 9 damage total. Thanks to Trell here. And then, possibly you could trip it. It's just harder, because he's a big 4-legged boy.
Yeah.
That's actually going to be very close. Let me double check. Unfortunately, that would for any other combat maneuver, but trips, that is not going to do it.
Yeah.
Ludwig, you are currently in the top one's mouth.
I can still just attack, though, can't I?
If you got a one-handed weapon, yeah, you can whack it. It's pretty low, you might be able to finish it. 15 with claws. First one is a miss, but with the second one, moments before it death rolls you, you're able to rake the underside again and fall out of the mouth. That one is done. Get the bodies out of the way here. Then Ludwig is no longer grappled.
Can I do my bite now?
Technically, yeah, because it's still another natural attack and you didn't move, so go for it.
I'll bite the mono lizard.
16. That does do it, but even with the extra damage, that lizard is still up, just very in the red.
Alrighty.
Alright, that is our remaining crocodile.
You skipped Growlin.
Oh, sorry, double tapped. My bad. Grelin, I'm going to pull you back over here. Alright, Grelin. You do have an open lane now if you want to move anywhere, now that one crocodile is dead.
The leader's trident? I want to try to pick it up and throw it at this, the lizard folk back.
That is possible. Technically doesn't return until right before his turn. Go ahead and make a throw. I believe this will be the same as your dagger, but damage is going to be different.
I don't want a sliver, I want a piece. Okay.
Grelin?
Actually, no. It's lower because I'm not proficient in this.
Oh, you're not proficient with tridents? Okay, so dagger -4. And then still with the +2 from Trell. So dagger -2. We shall see if that impacts. Who are you throwing it at? Alright, that lizard folk, that is absolutely going to hit. Go ahead and for you, what is your strength? For Grelin?
10. I don't add anything to attacks.
Don't add anything to strength? Okay. In that case, go ahead and just roll 2d6 for me. Alright, the trident seems to impact that back lizard folk. He's looking bloodied.
And just like, as I throw it at him, I stare directly at the king.
You see like there's like this blue like fin of spines on his head that kind of flare up in anger as he looks at you. Any movement anywhere? Alright.
I'll just move up behind Ludwig.
Okay, yeah, just the other half of the gate. Alright, big old Crocodilicus over here is gonna keep trying to eat Nico. Yep, 23, that'll do it.
Yep.
That is 6 damage. And another nat 1 for the crocodile for the grab attempt. The 6th nat 1 the crocodiles have rolled. Good God. Okay, well, yeah, it does you a bit of damage, but does not grab you in the mouth. Trell.
Swing with a book. And miss with a book.
That will not do it with a book, unfortunately. Alright, in that case, Avon. Yeah, the crocs are very defective right now. Okay, so you got a lizard folk on either side of you, both with morning stars and natural weapons, obviously. What's the move here?
Do I think their full attacks have more than one attack?
You would think these guys look a bit stronger than the other lizard folks that have gone down. That being said, you're pretty sure it's still going to be like if they haven't moved, they can use their weapon, and then their bite and their claw as a secondary. Bite
Okay,
and
so they
a claw attack. because they have a weapon in their hand. So, yeah.
So I will move up here and then over.
Okay, they're gonna try with the Morning Stars as their highest bonus. Morning Star 1 is a 14, Morning Star 2 is a 21.
21 hits.
Right, these are the stronger ones, so this is gonna be 10 damage.
Okay.
And then go for the rest of your stuff.
And then I'm going to shoot the leader guy.
Ooh, arcing it through all these boys. All right, go ahead and make your shot. The first one's gonna miss, but the second one will hit on a 17. So that is 16 damage. Not blood anything, but the arrow lodges into his chest as he growls a curse out in Draconic.
We can stop fighting and parley whenever you want. Then I'm going to lay on hands.
Have insulted way of life. We'll add you to the barbecue.
Well,
all right.
He's pretty optimistic, guys.
This boy's gonna move up. His fucking... What did he curse in Draconic? Probably called Avon mother... That his goat was... Oh my god, my brain just shut down. That his mother was a filthy goat. This guy's move up. His... fucking trident appears out of his ally and back in his hand. Now he moved up, so he can't do any double attacks here, but he is going to go in on Ludwig with the trident. That is going to be a confirmed crit. Okay, it's a fair amount of ones. That is 24 damage on the crit as the 3 points of the trident slam into Ludwig. Alright, that's our lizards. Trell has made himself enough of a nuisance that the lizard's going to keep going for him, so we'll start with that guy. Trell, that is a 16, it's a miss. And then the other one is going to try and down Ludwig. Ludwig, that is a 12.
No, that misses.
That misses? Alright, then that one does not manage to pull it off. Alright, that brings us to our lizard folk braves. Some of them can push up now. Yeah, just gonna get ready to take his place. Alright. The lead one is going to try and whack Nico with a Morning Star, and the other one's going to use his last javelin. Morning Star, 20 even, javelin 19.
Both on Nico?
Yes, I believe those both miss, right?
Both miss.
Alright, Nico nimbly dodging out of the way of these lizard folk. As for the two back here... yes, they have good swim speeds. So one is going to swim over that way, zigzagging around to avoid any ops or anything, even though you got the bow. It is far enough back that the guy's got a double move. However, he's going to try to double move all the way past you to block you in a bit more. So there's going to be one more Morning Star attack with flanking on Avon. That is a 18. Was that it?
Sorry, I was muted. That does not hit.
Does not hit? Okay. That is all of our lizard folk then. brings us back to Nico.
We will attack the one right in front of him.
All right, it's going for this guy in front of him. 11 is not going to do it, though. Ludwig?
We'll go full on the guy in front of me.
All right, going full beans on Veskit the Lizard King. Bite's not going to do it.
Nope.
Those two will do it, though. So 12 and 11 for 23. He looks like he is just almost bloodied as the claws rake across him. Grellin, that is you. What is your move, your prerogative here?
If I try to push through to here, how many opportunity attacks would that be?
If you fail the acrobatics, 4.
We'll risk it.
All right, go for the acrobatics. Let's see. So basically, yeah. So you have to exceed his. So you have to beat his CMD plus 5 because you're tumbling straight through him. The lizard folk and the frilled one have to beat their CMDs. They all have different amounts. So depending on how good you do, it might be all the attacks or less or even none. Okay, I think that's going to be some of them. Let's go through the lists. All right, you dodge the monitor lizard. Just barely you dodge the 2 lizard folk. However, even though you jump over him, sorry, you don't exceed it by 5 either, so you are going to bounce off of him and not be able to continue. So you don't actually make it that far. There is space there, though, because it's like a upright wall. You would bounce off there, and he's going to op attack you with the trident. That is 18. That is 19 damage as he drives it into Grellin's chest. You do still have a standard action, though, even though you messed that up.
I'll attack the monitor lizard.
Okay, that looks like it's on death's door. You lunge out with the rapier, I'm assuming. Now, let's see if it's enough to puncture the monitor lizard. That will just barely, with the bonuses, puncture the monitor lizard here. And you literally need to do 2 damage, so there's a chance he might not die. But lizard goes down. Alright, final crocodile. Yeah, he's occupying the dog. I think the king wouldn't try to get the crocodile away. Alright, blood came in, coming at Nico. That is a 21.
Does not hit.
Alright, Nico manages to dodge the snapping jaws. Which brings us to Trell.
Hold up, Trell. Wait for me.
Wait for you to.
Give you flanking.
Can you make it to him?
I was running to save Grelin.
Oh, you're leaving then. All right.
I mean, that is not a bad shout. There's 2 people in the red over there.
I guess I will try an acrobatics past the monitor lizard.
I mean, hey, why not? No, he gonna bite you. Well, he'll try. I mean, he's missed 2 bites already. What's that? 19?
Yeah, it hits.
Okay, he does get the bite this time. 3 damage, minimum damage. make a fortitude save, and he nat ones the grab attempt. So you do make it to your allies. Ludwig goes up by 13. And you do resist the monitor lizard poison. Nice.
How much damage is that? Sorry.
The damage was 3 damage because it was minimum, I remember.
Cool, thank you.
My cat just made a very suspicious thumping noise from out in the rest of the apartment. I'm not eager to see what that was. Okay. Avon. Surrounded by 2 lizard folk out in the marshy lands.
Yep. So I'm going to move up here.
Alright, let's see. Nat 1 and a 16. I think you dodge both there, yeah.
Yep.
Too quick
All
for
right.
him.
And then I will attack the big guy again.
Alright, going for the king. Let's see if we can hit Lizard King. It's a hit and a miss. He is bloody now, however. As, you know, another arrow slams in the other side of his chest. And he's just like, you two, what are you doing? Kill the stupid one over there. They're like, oh, right away, sir. All right. What are they gonna do here? They're gonna try to start tri-pointing you. So they both have to double move. They're trying to block you in with the lizard as well in a second as they whistle for it to come over. The 2 that are still engaged up here, though, one's going to move up and around toward Grellin. So he only gets to make 1 attack. That's going to be a Morning Star. Grellin, 12 is a miss. The other one is going to make the Morning Star, Bite, and Claw on Nico. One is a nat 20, but doesn't crit. The other 2 are definitely misses. That one was on... I think it's the first time any of them have actually landed their bites. Let me just double check damage. Okay, not a lot. Nico is going to take 4 piercing damage from the bite. Next is the monitors.
Are you forgetting the big guy?
Big guy? Oh, sorry. I think, yeah. I'm double clicking too much. Maybe I'm just losing my mind. Alright, hold on. Let me go back. Big boy here. Sorry. I see what I did. I am fucking blind, even with my glasses. I swapped their 2 icons on the thing. So that should have been him, not the lizard folk doing that. But they did their stuff, so I'll just get rid of their turn there. You know what? We'll just say he'll delay till after them, so the turn order still makes sense. So I already did those shenanigans. Alright, in that case, the monitor would still try to bite, but miss Avon. The lizard folk do all their shenanigans. The leader can do multiple attacks now. He is gonna try and finish Grellin with his bite, and then Trident Ludwig. So let's go with the bite first. Grellin, that is a 23. Grellin is gonna take 8 damage, which drops you to -2. As Grellin passes out as the teeth kind of sink into your collarbone and the side of your neck. As he removes his jaws, he's going to spin around the trident towards Ludwig. Ludwig, that is a 14. Does that hit?
14. Yes, it does.
Okay. Let's see if the healing was enough to prevent you going down. Oh, I think it is. Hold, how much health do you have right now?
16.
16. He minimum damages it, which is 12 damage. So you stay up. Very much could have been over there. All right. Now we're back to the top after that stupid turn order fiasco on my part. Nico, it's your turn.
We'll probably go for the one right in front of him.
Okay. The lizard folk brave in front of Nico. Oh, hell yeah. Hit for max damage. Nico jumps up, pounces this guy to the ground, and savages his throat with his jaws. One of the advanced lizard folk goes down. 5-foot step or anything?
Sure.
Okay. Nico kind of prowls in a little bit closer. Ludwig.
We'll go the full-on attack on the guy in front of me again.
Hell yeah. Oh my goodness, absolutely a hit. Up to 11 damage here. Go ahead with the claws. Hit. And just barely a miss on that second one. However, this guy's looking like he's pretty much at death's door. As the king.
Would be a 20. Yeah.
Oh yes, this is 20, so that does hit. Alright, he not looking like he is literally on death's door. He is as far in the red as he can go. Grellin, that is you. Go ahead and make a Constitution save, plus your modifier, then subtract 2 from the health. The negatives is what I meant to say. You stabilize right away. Don't lose any more health. That is the crocodile. Will he be able to eat the dog for once? We shall see. No, he does not. That roll is actually pretty high, but Nico is just fucking so spry. That is Trell.
Grellin gains 7 hit points.
Right, Grellin, you go from stable to back up at 5.
And then I'll move back here to flank the monitor lizard with Avon.
Alright, damn nice. In that case, 'tis our paladin.
Well, unfortunately, I'm going back here. But I should be back again in a round or so.
In a round or so. Okay, this time it is 3 of those. As you ride away. Let's do the 2 lizard folk and the monitor. Alright, 2 morning stars. The morning stars are misses. The bite of the monitor. It's a 18. I can't remember. Did that hit or not last time?
Nope, 19.
Okay. 19, damn. He like snaps at the fucking back of your clothes. You feel a little bit of fabric tear, but you get away clean.
All right, and then the big guy again. Come on, take him down.
The second one would miss, but luckily the first one, after Ludwig's barrage of natural attacks, is just enough that the Lizard King, he rears up with the fucking trident again, and you catch him right through the throat from the front. Goes to his knees, the shining magic trident drops out of his hands, and he collapses.
Your king is dead. Surrender now and live.
Damn, that was a high roll. We rolled a 19. Yeah, I would say on a 29, the remaining lizard folk are going to each throw down their morning stars.
All right.
They're
So
not very.
How about the animals? Can they make them surrender or no?
Let's double check. They are very much wanting blood from the fight, so basically they just have to make checks, so they're gonna try. So the 2 near the monitor lizard are gonna try to calm him, the one near the crocodile is gonna try to calm the croc. Split the difference on the 2 by the monitor lizards, a nat 1 and a nat 20. they are able to bring the lizard to heal. One by the Croc. Croc still looks like he's fucking hungry. So I'm going to take everyone but the Croc out of the order right now. Except, well, and you guys. Nico.
Nico will go after the Croc again.
Alright, let's see it. Another max damage one? Oh my god. I was gonna say max damage is a joke, but, with, and that's not with the Trell's damage, right? Does Nico get Trell's damage?
Yeah.
Okay. And then in that case, he had 13 health left, so it goes up to 14 on the crit. And as it tries to grab Nico and start doing a barrel roll, you manage to jump up and bite at the base of its skull and just kind of crush this bone there. And Croc is no more. Alright, and we are out of combat. We still have a little bit of time. We're about to wrap up here. We can wrap it up with these guys, though.
Alright, well, let's herd everybody inside the fort. I still got another lay on hands I can use.
Yeah, they dejectedly walk in. Go ahead. You're throwing out your lay on hands, you said?
Well, should I?
Up to you. These guys have definitely surrendered.
Grelin, you get 10. Ludwig, you get 12.
Alright, and 7 more to whoever needs it.
Alright, so after the Grelin goes to 15, Ludwig is at 16. I guess Grelin, you're lower. Go to get the extra 7. Be the decider.
Bring out all your people and bring us the boy.
Alright, I'll bring boy. They seem to not nearly speak as good common as the king did, but one of them walks away. Presuming you guys let him.
Yeah.
Alright. He is going to come back pretty quickly. I mean, you guys can see this dumb boy's haircut. That's literally what it looks like on the wanted poster. The kid at the top. See a kid with way too much hair and freckles, and just a runny, snotty nose, trots out. Would appear from the description on the poster that this is Tig Tannerson, the guy you're looking for. Okay, Grelin, you start translating in Draconic. Definitely makes relations here a bit easier. So, with that in mind, they bring him forward. It looks like he literally has some salt and pepper and stuff on his hair. Like, not salt and pepper hair, but like salt and pepper hair. And now that you're translating Draconic, Grelin, something a bit easier is just like, it is just the way of things. We eat other species. It's how lizard folk survive. Please, you killed King. Take him back. Take him back.
The eating of humans has to stop. Or eventually we will come into conflict, and I expect our side will win.
Oh, it's like, give me an intimidate check here. $27. Two cats going wild. Sorry, my partner's cat's also over, and they're not happy with each other. Okay, so with a 27, they kind of glance at each other, and if we agree, your folk leave our folk alone.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to have a conflict. Where are the boundaries of your territory? Ben!
The swamp all around here. Perhaps.
Well, we don't have a lot of use for the swamp anyway.
Very well. But how will we You take the boy, how will we give best cuts and appease the spirit of Stishak?
Oh, good grief. It's that Tartuk all over again. Tell me what the spirit's like.
It's very scary. It stays in one of the domes, and we bring it things. It looks like skulls of our ancestors, but it glows. It glows greenish and purplish.
I look at Trell and Ludwig and Grellin.
Magic.
Yeah, I would say honestly, you guys already saw some of these when Song was fighting it earlier. You guys helped out. It sounds like this isn't a spirit. This might just be a potent will-o-wisp.
Would you guys be happier without this spirit demanding everything?
Well, it is our ancestor. I don't. One of the other ones like elbows that one. He's like, "Shut up, Gorlog. Look. Even if it is, it requires too much. Drive it away, and we will owe you, folk. We will owe you."
All right, even nods. Let's get this over with.
All right.
Do we need to get more healed up first?
Oh yeah.
Potions and whatnot.
Yes.
Might not
Me
be a
and
bad idea.
Nico really need some healing. It's extremely painful right now. Or sorry, Bear Growls.
Too bad Song isn't here. Glitter Dust could really help out.
It is an unfortunate one to not have Song for. Although I know we
Scroll
were
Glitter Dust scroll.
Speaking of Song though, I know we were planning on wrapping up around like 9:30 this time, right? Because it might be this one's definitely more powerful than the other Will-O-Wisp. So I don't know if we're gonna beat it in like 13 minutes.
Fair.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
We can hold off.
Yeah, it might be good to just hold off for a hot minute. Maybe, I mean, we could say like, you know, it sounds like this thing has been harassing them for a while. If you like send word to Song and have her ride out here, you know, it's probably not going anywhere.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, we could take some time to heal and loot the king.
Oh yeah, also you can get the king stuff right now. So I was sad it didn't show it in his official art there. But he does have a crown you guys can take. It is made of old, like, bleached coral, but embedded with lapis lazuli. Additionally, so that's worth a lot. You guys know he has +1 leather armor. And go ahead... and trophy, you would probably have to sell it to someone evil. Trophies are usually hard to do of like sentient creatures.
No, I mean using the crown. With the crown.
Oh, the crown as a trophy. I thought you meant like harvesting a trophy. I was like, that's brutal, but you know.
No.
I guess you could make a check. I would say, I mean, you guys know what +1 weapons look like, and that enchantment wasn't exactly subtle. The trident is a +1 returning trident. So not anyone's favorite weapon, but hey, it's pretty good piece of cash there. It's effectively a +2 weapon.
Just thinking here. Do we want to run back to the capital, deliver the boy so he's safe, and get Song? Because I wouldn't mind getting reset on my divine bond.
Yeah. I'd say you guys could do that. If the party acquiesces.
Party?
Sure. I'm not for that.
All right. Okay. If you guys are going back, then so you do get 2 rewards here. So you guys are able to tell Arvin the fisherman that you guys took out Old Crackjaw. So he gives you guys the Ring of Feather Falling as a reward for that. And as you guys bring Tig back in the city, this is like a, in your barony, has become obviously a topic of gossip. Like, they put up a bounty board about it. People seem very pleased at this result, to the point where they are so happy their leaders would go out and resolve this. You guys get +2 loyalty from the barony right now.
You know what? I tousle his hair.
You briefly see that he has, like, beautiful eyes before the hair covers it again.
I was wondering if he had eyes. I'm glad he
It's
does.
just a blank face, just no eyeballs. Terrifying. He's actually an outsider, guys. Yeah, you got a couple,
He was
some...
never in any danger.
He's an omnipotent fucking Deva or something. Alright. Cool beans. Well, we'll stop there for now. Got those rewards in. I think once you take out that... we obviously didn't get to it today with the next round of Kingdom Management, but I assume you guys will probably double back to the capital after you take care of this final piece of business at the Lizard Folk Island.
Yep.
Alright, I'll have that stuff ready again. We'll probably go into that after the Will-O-Wisp fight. Cool beans. Well, we'll be back next Monday, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard, and I'll see you guys later.
Awesome.
All right. Thank
Have a
you.
good one, guys.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.